Good afternoon, my name is Townsend. I'm the General Manager of Pirtek Africa and Pirtek OEM. The purpose of today is to talk about the process in what goes into making up a hydraulic hose assembly. The reason for this is you can have the best product in the world, but if the assembly is done incorrectly, it's as good as having the worst product in the world. So quite simply what happens, customer will call in or we'll go out onto site. They will tell us what they want, and that information is then entered into our system into what we call an ITP report. What that report does is it details the hose, it will detail the length of the hose, it will detail the fittings, and any other accessories that might go onto that hose assembly to make it complete. Once that process is done, the production form or ITP is taken to the workshop and handed to the foreman in the workshop, who then gets together all the products that are required to put that hose assembly together. Once he has the fittings and the hose, he will cut the hose to the desired length. That length is calculated by the system, because with every fitting there is a different dimension that needs to be deducted from the overall length of the hose assembly. Once the cutting is done, the hose is cleaned in a number of ways, either by pellet or by washing machine. Goes back to the assembly table, at which point fitting insertion depth is marked on the hose. The importance of that process is to ensure that the hose is inserted to the correct depth on the fitting. If not, you don't get the correct crimping and you could end up with a premature failure. Once the fittings are put on the hose, it's then off to the crimping machine, at which point the fitting is crimped to the hose and it is then checked to ensure that the specification is correct. So the checks along the way, it's what makes this whole thing important, because you can crimp the fitting, and if the crimp spec is not correct, once again you could have a failure. This is what Pirtek prides itself in ensuring that the processes that are followed in producing the hose assembly are defined and are accurate. This is what gives us peace of mind when that hose assembly goes out to the customer. Once that process is finished, dust caps are put on the end of the hose, it is packaged, it is labeled, and those things are all done to the requirements of the customer.